Happy Wednesday to everybody. Hope you are doing well. We are at the third game of the June 16th, 1987 schedule. We're in Cleveland Municipal Stadium as the Boston Red Sox take on the Cleveland Indians, game number 432 on the overall replay. Here at Cleveland Stadium, singles are symmetrical, 1 to 11 for both sides. Home runs, slight difference, 1 to 8 for left and 1 to 11 for right. And starting pitchers for today's game, two right-handers on the mound, Al Nipper and Ken Schrom. Schrom for the Indians, 3 and 4. Nipper is 4 and 8. Those are the replay numbers. Neither team very well in this season. Boston 24 and 38, Cleveland 22 and 39. But hey, it's on the schedule, so we play them as they lie, to use a golf term. And we will start looking at the numbers on Ken Schrom, both on the real season and on the replay. Ken Schrom, again, let's look at his real numbers. His 1987 numbers, he was 6 and 13 with a 6.50 ERA, 154 innings pitched, and a whopping 185 hits allowed. Let's see how that translates to the replay. Replay is 3 and 4 with a 5.40 ERA, so a little bit better. 73 innings pitched and only 84 hits allowed. So the hits to innings pitch ratio is a little bit better than real world. His wild pitch is a 5 and his balk is a 5. And Schrom, will see what he can do here for the Cleveland Indians as they take on the Boston Red Sox. And pretty standard lineup for both teams. I don't really see anything out there that looks weird, except for the fact that Evans is still in right field because Buckner was either traded or is hurt, one or the other. I don't remember which one. And Benziger hasn't got here yet. So when Benziger gets here, they'll move Evans back to right field and put Benziger at first. But right now, Evans his defensive brilliance in right field is just totally being wasted by putting him at first base. I'm not sure why McNamara or whoever decided that. That still baffles me, but that's just the way they did it. But you got an outfielder like Dwight Evans and you're wasting his talents at first base. I don't know what to tell you. You don't have to be a genius to figure out that's not very bright. The real game, Cleveland won 8-7 in real world. So we'll see how it turns out this time. Got our dice. And of course, before the first pitch, we always have the ceremonial first sip. And that is good coffee. Chevalia coffee with International Delight Creamer flavored Cinnabon, and 2 packets of, yes, great value, Blue, which is the knockoff version of Equal. And I can't taste the difference, but it's about half price. You know me, I like a good deal. So, all right, so Ellis Burks will lead things off. He is hitting .266 on the replay, 7 homers, 17 driven inning at .272 real world. And we're underway from Cleveland. 2-8, and that is a solid single for Ellis Burks to lead things off. That'll take us right into the pitcher hold. For Schrom, it's a 0. Schrom's a -1, but Dempsey's a +1 for a net 0. Al Nipper is a +4. Gedman's a -1, so he's a +3 when that comes around. So really no change on Ellis Burks. If he gets the lead, it'd be a 1 to 17, -2 for being held. So 5 or a 6, he gets the lead. And that's a 4, but it's a 2, so that means it's a possible balk on Schrom. Schrom's balk rating is a 5. And Schrom has just balked. So Burks made Schrom nervous over there, and he has induced a balk. And that'll get him to second base without the stress of trying to steal it. So he's at second with nobody out for Marty Barrett. Barrett hitting .314 on the replay. No homers, 12 driven in. Hit .293 real world. First havoc roll, nothing happening. Yet another 5 came up. There's Barrett, 4-8, and that's a double 1 to 6. And that is a 6. It's a 2-star double, but with that balk, putting Burks at second, that's enough to get the run home, and the Red Sox take a 1-0 lead. Did I say it was a single, 4-8, and a 6? That was a double, right? Yep, it sure was. Okay. Make sure I credited him the right way. That is an RBI double for Barrett, his 13th RBI of the replay and his 8th double of the replay. And now Marty Barrett might have a chance to think about trying to steal. He needs a 4, though. It's the only way he gets a good lead is on a 4. Doesn't get it. He'll hold, and here comes Wade Boggs. Boggs on the replay is hitting 363, 12 homers, 32 runs driven in. And, oh, by the way, he hit 363 real world, so he's right on his numbers. He has been hot lately. He had been running behind, but now he's caught up to where he was before. And he's right on target. Nothing on the havoc. And he's actually pretty much right on target where his home runs. He's got 12 home runs. He had 24 real world, and he's roughly about halfway through his season. So he's right on pace for that as well. So Strat doing very well reproducing Wade Boggs' numbers. 2-4, and that's a ground ball right back to Schrom. That'll freeze Marty Barrett, and he will have to hold. One down, big out to get there, and here comes Jim Rice. Rice, the left fielder, hitting 278 on the replay, 4 homers, 26 driven in. He hit 277 real world. Boy, and I just dropped my D20 right out of my hand. Right out of my hand. And who knows where it went. One thing I have noticed about getting older now is I'm almost 61. I don't feel any aches and pains in my knees or anything like that. But one thing I have noticed is sometimes I feel like I'm getting a little bit of arthritis in my fingers. And so sometimes my dexterity is a little bit off from where I want it to be. I mean, it's not so anything bad, or it's sometimes I notice it. That's all. It's giving me, I'm sure it's going to get worse as I get, the older I get. But right now, I think we're still okay. Hello, Philip. All right, here's Rice. 6-7, and that's a base on balls. So Ken Schrom having his issues. That's the first walk issue by Schrom. First and second, one out for Don Baylor, the designated hitter. Baylor on the replay hitting 245, 6 homers, 31 driven in. Oh, by the way, he's hitting 245 on the replay. So Strat's also doing very well for Don Baylor. 1-3, and it's a fly ball to right field, and that's 2 away. Corey Snyder with that great -4 arm out there. 2 down, and here comes Dwight Evans again, being miscast as a first baseman. Evans on the replay hitting 351, 13 homers, 44 driven in. He had 305 real world, so he's definitely, offensively at least, exceeding expectations. It is a clutch situation with runners at first and second, so he does gain a hit on 210, so he gets that extra boost on a 210. But we get a 5-5 instead, which is a line out right to Bernazard, and Schrom, all things considered, gets away pretty luckily with just 1 run allowed. Could have been a multi-run inning there, but he got out of it. So we go to the bottom of the first. It is Boston 1, Cleveland coming to bat, and Mr. Al Nipper is your starting pitcher for the Red Sox during the 87 season. He was 11-12 with a 5.43 ERA. Has not fared quite as well in the replay. He is 4-8 with a 6.99 ERA. 75 innings pitched, and he's given up 95 hits. So he's been knocked around pretty good. At least for him, he's not in Fenway Park, so that might help him a little bit. Brett Butler will lead it off for Cleveland. He has really exceeded expectations. He's hitting 393 on the replay. 4 homers, 15 driven in. He only hit 295 real world. 1-7, and that's a base on balls. And with that +3, Brett Butler is going to be looking to see about some thievery. He needs a 2 through 8 or a 12 to get the good lead. He gets the good lead with that 7, so he's a 15, being held as a 13, but then you add 3 to it, makes it a 16. 1-16, the T rating on Gedman's a 15, so you got to watch out for that as well. 1-16, he's in there. And he got caught stealing. Wow. What a throw by Gedman. And Barrett put on the tag. Let's look at the numbers on Butler before that attempt as far as stolen bases go. On the real season, he stole 33 bases, got caught 16 times. Before this attempt, he had stolen 19 bases, got caught 13 times. This is his 14th caught stealing. He's only been successful 19 times, so his success rate is not done very well. Just some bad roll. I mean, you can roll a 19 on a D20. Almost don't care who you are. You're going to be caught, even though the percentages say you should be fine. But that's why you roll the dice. Julio Franco, the shortstop, that's going to step in, hitting 303, 4 homers, 30 driven in. He hit 319 real world. 1-7 for Franco. That's a double. 1-2. Single is a 3-20. So single for Franco. And now Franco is going to look to get the lead. 2, 3, 4, or 5 gets in the lead. He does not get the lead. He will hold. Here's Pat Tabler, the designated hitter. Tabler is hitting 316 on the replay. 4 homers, 31 driven in. He hit 307 real world. 310, and that is another walk issued by Nipper. So he's having all sorts of issues. His second walk already in 3 batters. He's walked 2 and gave up a single. The only thing that's saving him right now is that caught stealing. And Joe Carter. That's the other thing that's saving him, is Joe Carter's coming up. Joe Carter, the ultimate in underachiever in this replay. On the real season, Joe Carter hit 264, 32 homers, and 106 runs driven in. On the replay, in 270 at-bats, he's hitting 174, 9 homers, 21 driven in. So the ultimate in underperforming. And with 270 at-bats, the sample size is definitely large enough to know that he is not doing well. 6-8. Ground ball shortstop X. That's Spike Owen, 3E17. See what Spike Owen will do. 3E17. So we're looking at our shortstop area here in column 3. He needs a 15 or higher to turn a double play, but he needs at least a 5 to get to it. That's a 15. That's a G1, the lowest number of the G1 scale, so it's a possible double play, but that's a 17. That could be problems. Owen's an E17 and a 17, and that is a 2-base error on Spike Owen. It would have been a double play, but that's why they're the Red Sox, folks, in 1987. That double play, 2 outs, turns into a 2-base error. So 2-base error on Spike Owen, and I expect a comedy of errors when you get teams like this in the schedule. And going to third is Tabler. Scoring is Franco. Is obviously an unearned run to this point. Boy, Spike Owen. Got to make manager John McNamara pull his hair out. Here's Mel Hall. Second and third, 1 out. The infield is in. Mel Hall hitting 277, 7 homers, 22 driven in. He hit 280 real world. Nipper obviously not off to a good start. 5-9. Fly ball left field C, but that's with that C, that means it's so shallow that the runners can't tag. So that's a help if you're Nipper. Now it's 2 outs. The infield can go back to normal for Corey Snyder. Hello, Dr. D. Hello, Jesse. Corey Snyder on the replay hitting 232, 9 homers, 26 driven in. He at 236 real world. It is a clutch situation with runners at second and third. In the clutch, he loses 2 hits, 1-9 and 110. But he's got a loaded column 3, so Nipper's got to be careful. 2-7, he struck him out, so Nipper gets out of the mess also. So that 2-base error definitely makes that run unearned, but it still counts all the same. And at the end of a wild first inning, when the dust settles, it's 1-1. But this is what happens when you get 2 inept teams playing each other. You get the comedy of errors. Schrom back out will face the bottom of the order. Greenwell, Owen, and Gedman. Greenwell hitting 300 even on the replay in 120 at bats. 10 homers, 25 driven in. He hit 328 real world. 4-11. And that's going to be a fly ball left field X. We're looking at Mel Hall. Hall is a 3E4, so we should get to this. 3-12 he will. And now we're just checking the E4. Make sure there's no problem with that. So just to prove he got to it, 3-12, right there's an F2, so he gets to it. He's an E4, and that's a 7. There is no 7 there on the E4, so nice play. Fly to left field, 1 away. 1 down for Spike Owen. Spike Owen had that big 2-base error in the bottom half of the inning to allow a run to score. He's hitting 206 on the replay, a homer and 7 driven in. He at 259 real world. Switch hitter, 3-5, and that's a single. Spike Owen with a 1-out single. He could try to steal, but the success rate may not be all that great. It'd be a 1 to 13 even if he got there, and we've already had a guy thrown out with a 19. So they'll hold him there. And here's Rich Gedman, the catcher. Gedman hitting a paltry 158 on the replay. No homers, 11 driven in. He at 205 real world. We'll see what he can do here with Owen at first. 2-6, and that's a fly to center field. Brett Butler runs it down, 2 down. And that'll leave it up to Ellis Burks. Burks singled, was balked to second base, and then scored on the Barrett double to account for the run in that first inning for the Red Sox. Here is the pitch to Burks. 4-9, and that is a single. There's an anti-clutch, but the runner was not in scoring position, so the clutch does not come into play. It's a single to left field, and Owen will hold at second base. So first and second, 2 outs, and that brings up Barrett, who doubled first time up, that RBI double. Schrom got 2 of the first 3 outs. Thought it'd be an easy inning, but now he's got a pressure situation. It's in the clutch again. And Barrett in the clutch loses a hit on a 112. He also loses hits on 2-8 and 3-8 and 3-5. So 4 different places. His average goes down in the clutch. That's a 4-9, which is against Schrom, but it's a fly to center. And that will end the inning. So Schrom once again pitches around some trouble. Keeps the score 1-1. And we will go to the bottom of the second inning. Leading off for the Tribe will be Bernazard, followed by Jacoby and Dempsey, bottom third of the order. Bernazard will eventually get traded to Oakland. Bernazard on the replay hitting 237, 7 homers, 31 driven in. He at 250 real world. Switch hitter. 2-8, and that's a 1-2 double, but that's a 1. Double die comes up as a 1. A double for Tony Bernazard. For Bernazard, his 6th double of this replay. He had 25 doubles real world. Gets double number 6 right there. And here's Brooke Jacoby, third baseman. Kind of weird. They're batting him way down in the 8th position. Get a power guy at 32 home runs on the real season. You're batting him 8th. I don't understand that. But anyway, hitting 336 on the replay, 11 homers, 36 driven in. He hit an even 300 on the actual season. 4-5, and that's going to be a fly ball right field C. Again, with that C, it's not going to be deep enough. So runner has to hold at second base. For the number 9 hitter, longtime Oriole Rick Dempsey. Of course, he started with the Yankees way back in their mid-70s and then got traded to the Orioles. Dempsey hitting 198 on the replay, a homer and 12 driven in. He at 177 in the 177 in the real season. 4-6, and that's on base on balls for Nipper, his 3rd walk. It does set up a double play, but you're also playing with a little danger by putting runners on base. Here's Butler. He walked and got caught stealing his first time up. 1-5 for Butler, and that's a walk. So 4th walk issued by Nipper, and it will load the bases. For Julio Franco, Red Sox looking for that double play to get them out of the inning. 3-7, they don't get it. Fly ball, 3-8 would have been a double play. Fly ball center field B, question mark, chance for Bernazard to score here. Center field B, question mark. Burks is a 0 arm in center. Bernazard runs at a 15. You add 2 to that to make it 17. So 1-17, he will score on a sac fly. 18, 19, or 20, he is out trying. And he's out trying. What do you know? That's the 2nd time the Cleveland Indians have rolled either an 18 or a 19 to lose a runner on the bases. So we get a double play. Fly to center, and then Burks throws out Bernazard 8-2 for a double play, thanks to the 18 on the D20. You just can't make this stuff up, folks. The ineptitude is oozing out of both ball clubs. This is the resistible force, meaning the very movable object, and we are tied at 1 apiece after 2. But what are the odds when you need a D20 check that you get an 18 and a 19 to cause you to have 2 outs like that. It just happens. And it seems to happen to the teams that are not very good. First place teams that doesn't happen to. All right, here's Wade Boggs. 3-5, and that's a solid single doing Wade Boggs stuff. Of course, Boggs no threat to run, so he will hold. And here's Jim Rice. He walked his first chance. 4-10, and that is a ballpark single check, 1 to an 11, and that is an 11, round the number. So another base hit for Rice and the Red Sox. That's 6 hits already to go with a walk. And here's Don Baylor. 2-11 for Baylor. That's a ballpark blast. It's a 1 to an 11, but that's an 18, so just a fly to left field. And Schrom catches a break there. Could have been a 3-run home run. Could have been a contender, but it wasn't. Here's Dwight Evans. 2-8 for Evans. Struck him out. That's the first strikeout for Schrom, and it couldn't have come at a better time. And now 2 away. He has a chance to get out of it. Facing, should be Greenwell, not Owens. I don't know how they got out of order there. Don't want to bat out of order. So Greenwell is your batter. Flew to left his first time up. It is a clutch at bat for Greenwell. He loses a hit on 2-3 and 2-8. But a 1-9 says he grounds it to third, and after getting the first 2 on, the Red Sox can't capitalize, and they will walk away empty-handed. So the bottom of the third, still tied at 1. Here at the Mistake by the Lake in Cleveland. Nipper back out. And he'll face Tabler, Carter, and Hall, heart of the order. 2-4, and that's a ground ball to Spike Owen. 1 away. Nipper's going to see if he can get a 1-2-3 inning for a change. Here's Joe Carter. Reached on the 2-base error by Spike Owen his last time. 2-10. This time it's a ballpark blast. It's a 1 to an 11. That's a 3. Joe Carter goes deep. Much maligned Joe Carter in this replay, but he comes through this time with a ballpark blast on a 2-10. And it says 1 to 11 at Cleveland Stadium. The Devil dies a 3, and of course he has normal power. So Joe Carter, a solo home run, puts the Tribe in the lead 2-1. For Carter, only home run number 10 on the replay. He had 32 of them real world. That's home run number 10, RBI number 22. And the Cleveland Indians take a 2-1 lead. Here comes Mel Hall. 1-2. That's a Lomax plus injury, so Mel Hall may have to leave this game. The injury would only be for this game because we are doing as-played lineups, but do allow in-game injuries. So we will go to our injury chart and see what we get for that. So we go to our injury table right here. 1 to 4, he can stay in the game. Actually, I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use the one that's in the rule book. I think it's a little bit more forgiving. So we'll do that one instead, because you get a couple extra numbers to your credit to help you stay in the game. So we'll use this one instead. 1 to 6, you can stay in the game, because this technically means in the rule book that you miss the remainder of the game, but I play that he remains in the game. So 1 to 6, he's got to come out. 7 or higher, he can stay in the game. Basically is the way that works. That's an 18, so he stays in. I'm sorry, he does not stay in the game. 7 to 20, he had to come out. So he's going to come out. That's going to be an injury. And the Tribe will need a new left fielder. And it looks like from who they have on their bench, that's going to be Carmen Castillo. They could go to Dave Clark. They do have left-handed hitting Dave Clark. He's only right field, though, and they'd have to move Corey Snyder. I don't think they want to do that. They couldn't put Doug Frobel out there, but he's not very good. Same with Castillo. He's in right field also, so they may have to go to Frobel because they really don't want to move Corey Snyder out of that right field spot. So I think they're going to go to Doug Frobel. Doug Frobel will be taking over as the left fielder for the Cleveland Indians. Doug Frobel. So Frobel will take over in left field in the third inning for Mel Hall. So Doug Frobel. All right, so 2 outs, base is clear for Corey Snyder. All right, something didn't happen right on the computer here. I got to figure out what the heck is going on here. All right, home run for Carter and then the line. Wait a minute, why don't they have this? Oh, I see what I did. Okay. 1 second, I got to do some undos on the Strat computer because something got out of whack here. All right, so Tabler grounds to short. I'm just going to recreate the inning here real quick. Tabler grounds to short. Carter homers. And then Mel Hall lines to second. Now we're back in business. 2 outs, base is empty for Corey Snyder. .57, and that is going to be a ground ball second base X. We're looking at Marty Barrett. He is a 2E11. 2-9 for a second baseman should be no problem whatsoever. 2-9 is a G2. That's a 10. Usually aren't that many errors on 10s unless you're really bad. E11, nope, there's no 10 there. So Marty Barrett makes the play, and the inning's over. But the Joe Carter home run has given Cleveland a 2-1 lead as we go to the top of the fourth. And on the computer, I will bring in Doug Frobel to play left field in the place of the injured Mel Hall. Now, as I'm looking at the Strat computer, it's telling me Dave Clark is no longer on the roster, so he wouldn't be an option anyway. We have Castillo, Bando, and Thornton, and they also have a guy named Junior Noboa. I guess he was an infielder, so I'm going to go to my minor leagues real quick and see if I can find my Junior Noboa card. If I have a Junior Noboa card, he probably wasn't carded, but thanks to a certain gentleman who sent me some extras, I might have him in the minor leagues. So I need to check that real quick and see if he is available to be used. But he might be so bad you don't want to use him unless it's a run out of players or something. But it's good to have him, to know he's there. So let's see if I can find a Junior Noboa card somewhere. Not seeing them. He must have really been bad if he didn't have a card at all. Oh, no, there he is. He's there. He has a regular Strat card. My bad. Noboa actually had 80 at-bats, 225 hitter. So obviously not very good, but he's there. So we'll put Dave Clark in the minors and bring up Junior Noboa to match what Strat Computer has as their bench players. So I'll make sure I don't use a player that wasn't on the roster for real. So get that straight. But right now, we go to the bottom of the fourth inning with the score. I'm sorry, top of the fourth inning with the score 2-1 Cleveland. Top of the fourth, it is Ken Schrom, and Schrom will be facing Spike Owen to lead things off. 4-6 switch hitter. 1-6 is a double. That's a 19, so a solid single. Spike Owen 2 for 2, trying to make up for the 2-base error he had earlier. He will be helped. He won't try anything. And here's Rich Gedman. Bad hitter, but a terrible, but even worse bunter. So we're going to have him swing away. 6-9, and that's a ground ball second base C. So he advances the runner in an unconventional way. With that ground ball C, that'll be enough to get Spike Owen to second base. So an unofficial sacrifice, I guess, turned in by Gedman. One away for top of the order in Ellis Burks. Burks is 2 for 2. Hello, villain. Oh, the white die got held up there, so hold on. Let's redo this. 2-6, and that is a ground ball to third. Two down. And here's Marty Barrett in the clutch. Barrett loses 2 hits, 2-8 and 3-12. Actually, this is where he loses 4 hits. 1-12, 2-8, 3-5, and 3-8. So he's going to miss several hits here. But a 6-5 is an in-home run chance, 1-12. That's a 20. He'll settle with a double. It'll be an RBI double for Marty Barrett, his second double of the game, second RBI of the game. He's driven in both Boston runs, and we are tied at 2. Marty Barrett. Here comes Wade Boggs. Clutch situation for Boggs. He loses a couple of hits in the clutch, 1-8 and 1-11. But he gets a 3-3, which is a fly to Brett Butler in center to end the inning. But the Red Sox tie the score on the RBI double from Marty Barrett. And we go to the bottom of the fourth, tied at 2. Nipper will face the bottom of the order, Bernazard, Jacoby, and Dempsey. 2-4 for Bernazard. That's a ground ball right back to Nipper. Easy play. 1 down for Brooke Jacoby. 4-12. Ground ball first base C. And that's one where Evans ranges far to his right, makes the play, but flips to Nipper covering because he can't get to the bag in time. For 3-1 ground out on those ground ball C's. It's not in the rule book. It's just a Tribe fan, Clee baseball fan, homebrew that many of us have adopted. Here's Rick Dempsey just to get some 3-1 ground outs in the game. 6-3, and that is a ballpark single check, 1 to an 11. That's a 19, so he will line it to short. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Al Nipper. So at the end of 4, we're tied at 2. Sometimes even the worst teams can give you the closest games. If they're both inept, then it's a tug of war between ineptness. Here's Jim Rice. He hasn't been inept. He's reached base twice. He's walked and singled. 1-5, but he's inept here. He flies to center field. Butler is there. 1 away. For Don Baylor, designated hitter, he's 0 for 2. He's flown to right and flown to left. If he flies to center, he'll complete the circuit. Oops. 3-4. He's hit by the pitch. And when's the last time you saw Don Baylor get hit by a pitch? That's not unusual, is it? I want to check his hit by pitch numbers in real world and on the replay, just out of curiosity. Don Baylor in the 87 season doesn't even give his hit. This stat doesn't give his hit by the pitch. I'd have to go deep into the archives to get that. So unfortunately not available on the computer that I can find. So he is hit by the pitch. He will reach base. Of course, he will not be held. He's not very fast. He will stay at first base for Dwight Evans. Evans is 0 for 2. That's a 1. Schrom, his wild pitch rating is a 5. No wild pitch as Dempsey blocks it. So Evans steps in. 6-8, and that is a ground ball shortstop X, possible double play chance. Frank goes a 2E26. We have not had our Giovanni's Tailor Shop tailor-made double play yet, so this could be it. 2E26. 2-13, that's off to a good start. That should be a G1. 2-13 is a G1. That's a 14. That'll be iffy. He's an E26 and a 14. E26, there is no 14. There's a 12, 17, and 18. So that, in fact, is a Giovanni's Tailor Shop tailor-made double play of the game. 643. Giovanni's Tailor Shop in Lemoyne, Pennsylvania. Be sure to stop by if you're out in that area of the country. They are the unofficial sponsor of the channel, but they are the official sponsor of the Giovanni's Tailor Shop tailor-made double play of the game. Stop by, tell them Demo sent you. They might give you a discount for all your tailoring needs. All right, bottom of the fifth, and Mr. Brett Butler stepping to the plate. He has walked twice. 3-8, and this time he'll just get a straight out single. So he's aboard. He got caught stealing last time, but that was an anomaly. He's going to try it again. 2 through 8 or a 12, and he gets the lead. So again, it would be a 1 to 16. 15 there. Being held makes him a 13, but the +3 makes it a 16. And this time he is in there. I knew the percentages had to be in his favor. So Brett Butler singles to lead off the inning. And after being caught stealing last time, he swipes second base. For Butler, that is stolen base number 20. On the replay, he stole 33 of them real world. So stolen base number 20 for Brett Butler. He's in scoring position for Julio Franco with nobody out. 5-7, and that is a ground ball second base X. That will at minimum get Butler to third base. Barrett's a 2E11. Make it a 2 to 20. That's a G1 easily. E11 and a 10 shouldn't be an issue, I wouldn't think. Nope, not a problem. But with the ball hit to the right side, that will take Butler over to third base. So Julio Franco playing fundamental baseball, hitting the ball to the right side when you have a runner at second and nobody out. That gets him at third with one out. And Red Sox are going to play the infield in. They don't give up the cheapie. So they're going to play the infield in here against Pat Tabler. 1-8 for Tabler, and it cost him right there. Ground ball shortstop A, that's going to get through for a base hit by playing in. It cost him. But if you don't play in and you get a ground ball shortstop B and the run scores, people say, why didn't you play the infield in? So you really, take your chances there, so to speak. But there you go. So here's Joe Carter. Tribe now lead at 3 to 2. 2-11 for Carter. That's a ballpark single check. It's a 1 to 5. That's a base hit for Carter. And now Cleveland looking to add to this lead. And Doug Frobel will get his first at bat of this ball game. You see his stats real world. He had a 40 at bats with an average of 100. I guess it was 4 for 40. But 2 of those 4 hits were home runs with 5 runs batted in. On the replay, Frobel in 14 at bats is hitting .214, no homers yet. .26, and that is a strikeout. Al Nipper gets the strikeout, and that is his second strikeout. Only a second strikeout in here in the 5th inning. But a much-needed strikeout. 1 away, and that will send up Corey Snyder. He's 0 for 2. But now double play gets you out of the inning. 4-9, but that's a fly to center field, so that's just going to be out number 2. But in Nipper's case, you take any out you can get at this point. 2 down, and now it's a clutch situation for Tony Bernazard. In the clutch, he loses a couple hits, 2-9 and 2-10, also on 110 and 312. So definitely not very much of a clutch hitter, according to Strat. 3-7 is a ground ball to third. That will end the inning. So as it turns out, with the single by Carter, that would have scored the run had they been playing back or what. Wouldn't have made a difference. So as it all turns out in the end, another run for Cleveland. They take a 3-2 lead after 5 innings of play. Schrom, his fatigue was the 5th inning, but he only did a hit by pitch. Everything else was fine, so he still got endurance. And he'll be facing Greenwell, Owen, and Gedman, bottom of the order. By my house rule, I do not substitute, except for injury, until the 7th inning, unless there's a pitching change. Starting pitcher still in there, that means all these guys have to bat, no matter how bad they are. Here's Greenwell, 3-10, and he's hit by the pitch. Second hit by the pitch. And now the Red Sox have to figure out what's going on here. Is this intentional or not? I don't think it is. Greenwell is aboard. He's not happy about it, but he's hit by the pitch. And here's Spike Owen. Owen is an A bunter. I would normally bunt here, but Gedman's so horrible. I don't want to turn it over to him. So we're gonna let Spike Owen, who's 2 for 2, have a chance at it, not the guy who's 0 for 2. So Owen will swing away. 3-3, and he gets a solid triple. Look at that, a triple on his own card. No split needed. He must have had some serious He had 7 triples. So it's a RBI triple from Spike Owen, and we got a tie ball game. And now the Cleveland bullpen is going to have to stir a little bit because Schrom is apparently running out of gas. That's the 4th triple in the replay for Spike Owen, RBI number 8. And now he's at third with nobody out. And Rich Gedman, the batter. Infield playing in for the Tribe. 4-6. That doesn't matter where they're playing. 1-6 is a double. That's a double for Rich Gedman. And now the Cleveland bullpen is definitely getting ready as fast as they can. Red Sox have now taken a 4-3 lead, and we're back to the top of the order. Let's look at the Cleveland bullpen. See who they have available. They have right-handers, Rich Yett, Mark Huseman, and Mike Armstrong, and lefties Ed Vandenberg and Scott Bales. Those are the pitchers that are available. Coming up for the Red Sox, except for Boggs, everybody else is right-handed, and Boggs doesn't care who he hits, righty or lefty. So we're leaning toward a right-hander out of the bullpen for Cleveland. See if anybody needs rest or whether they're all good to go. Huseman kind of could use some rest, I think. Actually, it's saying Rich Yett might pitch a start coming up here, so probably don't want to use him. We're going to go with this guy. We are going with Mike Armstrong, so Schrom is done. He didn't get anybody out here in the 6th inning, so he's going to go 5+. And he's going to give up 10 hits. So far, 4 runs. He is responsible for this runner here. So 4 earned runs. I'll change it to 5 if he scores. Let's see here. 1 walk, 2 hit by pitches, and he only registered 1 strikeout. So Armstrong is in. He has a +9 hold, so that's obviously about as bad as you're going to get. And Ellis Burks, the leadoff man, is your batter with Gedman at second and nobody out. Armstrong on the real season, as you can see, was 1-0 with an 8.68 ERA and 1 save. On the replay, he's 0-1 with no saves and a 4.15 ERA. So at least he's cut his ERA in half on the replay. But only 9 innings pitched, so it's a very small sample size. Here's Burks, 4-9, and that's a single to right field. Single to right field, but Gedman doesn't run well, and Snyder's got a -4 arm, so you can bet your bottom dollar they will hold him at third base. So runners are on the corners. I think I probably need to go ahead and change this to a 5 right now because I'll leave it blank, but it will be changed to a 5 very shortly. Ellis Burks might be looking to run here. Why not? That +9 there. If he gets the lead, it's pretty much guaranteed. Needs a 5 or a 6. Doesn't get it, so he'll hold. He could even go without the lead, possibly. It would be a 13. 4 for being held drops him to a 9. +5 be a 14. Thought about it, but they're not going to do it. So Marty Barrett is up, and the infield is looking for a double play. They need outs in the worst way. They got to minimize this damage. They'll give up the run if they can get to 2 outs. That would only put them down by 2 runs, and they can come back from that. If 3 or 4 more runs scored, the game's over. So 6-9. That's a ground ball shortstop X. Chance for Franco to turn a double play. 2E26. They need a good D20 number. They don't get it. 2 and an 8 may not do. I think that's a fielder's choice. 2 and an 8 is a G2, so its only play is at second base. That's a 10, and he's an E26. E26 and a 10. No error there. They will get Burks at second base 6-4 on the fielder's choice. But scoring is Gedman. And now we can finish off Schrom, put that 5 in there. Had to know that was going to happen. RBI ground out for Barrett. That's his third run batted into the game. So even his outs are productive. One away now for Wade Boggs. Barrett at first base. He'll look to get the lead. But he needs a 4 to do so. He does not get the lead. That's a 2. He could cause Armstrong to balk, but he's got a 0 balk rating, so no problems there. Here's Wade Boggs. 6-10, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. So Franco is responsible for holding Barrett at first, so he becomes a 3E26. When the lefty's up, the shortstop is responsible. So this number goes up by 1 to 3E26, and that could affect everything, especially with a 9 there. 3 and a 9. It makes it a G3 versus a G2, so the only play is going to be to first base. That's an 11, and there is no error there on E26 and an 11. There is on a 12, but not an 11. So it will be a 6-3 ground out with Barrett taking second base. So at least they get the out. The runner does advance. Now they're 2 away for Jim Rice. It is a clutch situation for Rice. But right now, Cleveland's only down 5-3. They're still in the game if they can get out of the inning. Rice in the clutch. Will lose a hit on 1-9 and 2-11. That's a 110. He just missed that anti-clutch, but he does fly to the left, and that's going to end the inning. So 3 runs will come across the plate for the Red Sox. All of them are charged to Ken Schrom. We go to the bottom of the 6th. It's now Boston 5 and Cleveland 3. And this is Al Nipper's fatigue inning, number 6. See what he can do here against Brooke Jacoby. It'll be Jacoby, Dempsey, and Butler. That's a 5-9, and that's going to be a ground ball to second base C. Doesn't matter about the C because the bases are empty. 1 away. For Rick Dempsey. Dempsey has walked and lined to short. 6-2, he'll walk again. Another base on balls. And for Nipper, he had early walk troubles. He walked 4 in the first 2 innings. That's his first walk since, but it's the 5th walk of the game. Dempsey's aboard for Brett Butler. Butler has reached base all 3 times, 2 walks and a single, a run scored and a stolen base, also caught stealing. 4-10. That's a ballpark single check. That's a 15, so it's out of range. So he'll pop it up to short. 2 down. And Julio Franco steps to the plate. He is 1 for 3. 3-8 for Franco, and that's a ground ball to short. That'll do it. Al Nipper will continue into the 7th inning with endurance as he's only given up a walk. All right, something went wrong. Haywire here again on my thing here. Let's figure out what in the heck is going on here. I didn't give Dempsey the credit for the walk. That's what the problem was. And let's see, Jacoby should have grounded out. Okay. For some reason, I'm a little bit off on what I'm putting in the computer for whatever reason. I don't know why. Well, I didn't give Jacoby the ground out. I gave him the walk that Dempsey had. I was 1 behind on what I was doing. So we ground out to second. We have Dempsey walk. Get Butler to pop to short. And then we have a ground out to short to end the inning. All right. And something's really weird on this computer. I may have to come back and fix this later because something got way out of whack here. Way out of whack. Yes, I got to fix this later. I'm not going to mess with it now. It's too much of a trouble to do it. So we'll just go manually from here. Not sure what happened with that. Armstrong back out. He can face. Has a 2-inning relief factor, so he's going to stay out there to face Baylor. 2-10 for Baylor, and that is a fly to center field, 1 away. Here comes Dewey Evans. Getting to a double play his last time up. 6-8, that's a solid single. First hit of the game for Evans. That'll bring up Greenwell. No action in the Cleveland bullpen just yet. 2-4. Maybe that's a ballpark single. I thought it was a ballpark blast at first. Ballpark single, but that's going to be an out. That's a line out to second base. 2 down for Spike Owen, who tripled, had that big triple his last time up. He's 3 for 3. He's Spike Owen. 6-6 switch hitter. This time he pops it to third, and there's your end of the inning. So we got the 7th inning stretch coming. 5-3, Boston still leads it. And Nipper only gave up a walk in his fatigue inning, so he still got some endurance going. And Tabler will lead things off. 5-6, that's a strikeout for Nipper. The dot is there, but he's not tired yet. He hasn't given up enough hits or walks to be tired. 3rd strikeout of the game. Here's Joe Carter. He is singled and homered. Maybe he's coming out of his slump. 4-8. And here we go with a possible double. That's going to be another single. So Joe Carter, his 3rd hit of the game. Very unusual for him, but he's got it. And he's going to try for the lead. Needs a 2 through 5 to get that lead. He does not get it, so he will hold. And here's Frobel. That's a 5-7. Ground ball shortstop X. Spike Owen's a 3E17, but he's responsible for holding Carter, which makes him a 4E17. So this could sneak through for a hit. 4-7, that's going to be close. If there's a pound sign there, it gets through for a hit. 4-7, it does. It's a G3, but it's a pound sign. And when the guy is responsible for holding, it turns into an SI2. So that's going to be a base hit single. 11, there is no error on the 11. The error on Spike Owen is a 15, 16, and 17. So there's no error there, but it's going to be a single, 2 stars. And just like that, the tying runs are on base for Cleveland. Tying runs are on base for Cleveland for Corey Snyder with 1 out, and now the Boston bullpen starting to stir. They are starting to move around a bit down there in the bullpen. We will show who they have available. They have a guy named John Leister available. They have Wes Gardner available, and they have Calvin Schiraldi available, all those from the right side. The left side, they have Joe Sambito and Tom Bolton. So that's the 5 guys that they have to choose from out of their bullpen. Cleveland is going to have switch right, and then left comes up. So I think mainly you're probably looking at a right-hander. So let's see who's got the best, who's got the most rest here. It looks like Gardner's not too bad. So Wes Gardner is loosening the bullpen just in case for the Red Sox. Oh, also left off one guy. Steve Crawford's also available. Forgot about him. But Wes Gardner is loosening the pen just in case Nipper runs into trouble. We'll see if Nipper can pitch out of it. That's a 2 balk or pass ball opportunity. That's a balk opportunity on Nipper, who's a 0. So no balk there. Here's Snyder, 4-7. That's a 1-17 single. That's a base hit. It's going to load. It's going to score the run. It's going to move move Frobel rather. I'm going to make sure I put Frobel here. Going to move Frobel to let's see here, 4-7. So it's a 1-star single, so it's only going to move Froebel to first base. Or to second base, rather. So scoring is Joe Carter to cut the lead to 5-4. And now first and second with only one out. And here's Bernazard. Nipper on the verge of being fatigued. They're going to give him one more chance against Bernazard. If he doesn't get Bernazard, they're going to bring in Gardner to face Jacoby. That's a 3-9 for Bernazard. That's a ground ball first base. Hey, he gets a double play. Not tailor-made, but it's 3-6-3, and happens to be the exact dice roll as well. 3-6-3, 3-9 turns into a 3-6-3 double play to get them out of the inning. That's going to be all for Nipper. He will conclude with 7 innings pitched. The run did score before that. So Nipper will be charged 4 runs, all earned. He's going to give up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hits. He walked 5, struck out 3, and Gardner, I believe, is going to be your new pitcher for the Red Sox, Wes Gardner. And Gardner is a -5 hold, so that's good as you can get. So we go to the 8th inning. And we'll check on the Red Sox lineup. We have Gedman, Burks, and Barrett. The Tribe may go to a lefty out of the bullpen here. I think they're going to go to Scott Bales. Scott Bales will be coming on to pitch, so Armstrong goes 2 innings. And he's going to, in his 2 innings, he's going to give up 2 hits, no runs. No walks, no strikeouts. And now Scott Bales, the lefty. He's a -4, so that makes him a -3. So Scott Bales will be coming on for the Cleveland Indians. We'll look at his totals on the real season and the replay. We go to the Strat computer and pull up his stats. In the real season, 7-8, 4.64 ERA, 6 saves. On the replay, he checks in at 5-2. I'm sorry, he checks in at 3-4 with 2 saves and a 6.33 ERA. So Scott Bales will be facing Gedman. And actually, do they pinch hit for? They're going to pinch hit for Gedman. They're not going to let him face Gedman. Plus, they're going to bring in their other catcher, which is Mark Sullivan, who's a much better defensive catcher since they've got the lead. So Mark Sullivan will catch in the bottom of the 8th. Pinch hitting-wise, they've got these 3 guys available. So it looks like Dave Henderson will pick up a bat and hit. So Dave Henderson will pinch hit for Gedman, and then he'll move Sullivan to catch. So right now, got Henderson coming in to pinch hit here in the 8th. And Gedman will catch in the bottom of the 8th. I'm not Gedman. Sullivan will catch in the bottom of the 8th. So Dave Henderson, look at his numbers. Real season and 184 at bats, 8 home runs, a 234 average. And on the replay for Mr. Henderson, he is hitting .255, 11 homers, 28 runs batted in, and 145 at bats. So he's already exceeded his run total based on his real-world stats. So Henderson it is against Bales. Did a 3-7, and he will strike out. So Henderson out on strikes. And, of course, Sullivan will take over behind the plate. Here's Ellis Burks. Oh, thank you. Is it DeVito or David O? I'm not sure how you go by that. I like the Orioles logo, though. That's nice. Do enjoy that. All right, here's Ellis Burks. 5'10", and that's a catcher X. So we're looking at Dempsey. He's a 3E13. Nobody's on base, so there won't be any pass balls or anything like that. But that could be a base hit. It could be a squibber for a hit there with a 1. Ones are not good for your fielders, that's for sure. That's for sure. 3 and a 1. Kind of hard for Dempsey. When you roll a 1 D20, you're kind of screwed defensively. So his W/S is definitely going to be a single. That's a 7. Dempsey is an E13. E13, there's a 6 there, but no 7, so there won't be an error. But there will be a squib single for Ellis Burks, and he gets his 4th hit of the game. 4th hit of the game for Ellis Burks. He could try to steal. It is a -3 on the hold, so if he got the lead, it dropped down to a 1-14. They're going to try to get the lead anyway. Needs a 5 or a 6. Doesn't get it, so he will hold. Here's Marty Barrett with 1 out. All right, I guess the O is either the first initial of your last name or because you're an Oriole fan. Here's Marty Barrett, 2-9, pops him up to. I'm sorry, on the left side. Oh, the left side is not a pop up short. It's a ground ball. It's a Giovanni's Tailor Shop tailor-made double play on the 2-9 to the left side. Ground ball shortstop A. That's a 6-4-3 DP. Can't write these days. Started writing a D instead of the number 3 there, didn't I? Let's see if I can clean this up a bit. It's terrible, terrible, terrible. Second double play, turned by the Tribe, and that will end the inning. So we go to the bottom of the 8th. Gardner back out. Or not back out. He's coming out for the first time, actually. And we saw his numbers earlier. So it'll be Gardner taking on Jacoby and Dempsey. But since we're in the past the 7th inning, we're going to be able to pinch hit for Dempsey. So we go to Cleveland's bench. And we'll look and see who they have. Chris Bando would come in and catch. That's for sure. But I think they're going to have either Carmen Castillo or Andre Thornton hit. I don't think you want to use Junior Noboa in this situation. So I think they're going to go with Andre Thornton to pinch hit for Dempsey. So Thornton's going to pinch hit for Dempsey here in the 8th inning. And then Chris Bando will catch in the 9th. All right, so right now, though, it's Brooke Jacoby. We get Jacoby before we get anybody else. So Jacoby will lead it off here against Wes Gardner in a nip and tuck 5-4 ball game. 5-10, and that's a fly ball center field X. Ellis Burks, a 2E5. I think he would get to that. 2 and a 17, he definitely gets to that. Just making sure there's no error, but I don't think on an E5 that's going to be a problem. Although 15 could be. E5 and a 15 in center field. Nope, 16, 17, and 18 are errors, not 15. So Ellis Burks makes the play, and Jacoby is retired. And now Andre Thornton will pinch hit. And Thornton, not one of his better years, obviously. I think this is probably the end of his career, most likely. He hit 118 real world, no homers and 5 runs batted in. In replays, hitting 169, no homers and a run batted in. See what we can do here. 6-4. That's a ballpark single check. 1 to an 11, but that's a 13, so he will fly it to right field. And that's out number 2. So Thornton is out. Back to the top of the order, and Brett Butler. 6-8, and that's a ballpark blast. 1 to 8 for a lefty. That's a 16. So it'll just simply be a fly to right to end the inning. So Gardner gets 3 flyouts. And we go to the top of the 9th. Of course, Chris Bando now in to catch. Bale's back out, and he'll be facing Boggs, Rice, and Baylor here in the top of the ninth of a 5-4 game. 4-9, and that is a line out to short. One away for Jim Rice. 5-10, and that's a catcher X. So right away, we're looking at the catcher, Chris Bando. Chris Bando is a 2E2, so shouldn't be any problem. 2E2 should be no problem at all. 2 and a 7 shouldn't matter because nobody's on base. 2 and a 7 is a P/P, so there could have been a pass ball if somebody had been on base, but nobody's on, so just a pop out. That is an 11, and he is an E2. The only errors on E2 are 3, 17, and 18, so it'll be a pop out. Jim Rice pops it up, and Bando makes the play. 2 down for Don Baylor. Got Calvin Schiraldi in the bullpen for the Red Sox, but Gardner went 1, 2, 3, so I'm almost tempted to let him stay in the game. See how many saves he had real world. He had 10 of them, so yeah, we're definitely going to keep him in there. Gardner's going to stay in there to try to finish out the game. Baylor 4-9. And that's a fly to left to end the inning. So Bale certainly does his job. He goes 2 innings, gives up nothing. I did give up a single, my bad. 2 innings, 1 single, and that's it. So bottom of the ninth we go. Last chance for the Tribe against Wes Gardner. And it'll be the heart of the order, Franco, Tabler, and Carter. Frobel if anybody gets on. Franco will step to the plate. 3-7 for Franco, and that's a fly to center field. And there's one away. It brings up Pat Tabler. 2-6 for Tabler, and that's a 1-11 double. And that is an 11. So Pat Tabler cracks a double. Now, he is the DH, and he runs at an 11. So we'll check and see if Junior Noboa possibly can run better than that. If he is, we'll put him as a pinch runner. I don't know what his run rate. His run rate's a 14, so absolutely. Junior Noboa will take over as DH. He will be the pinch runner because they need all the speed they can get out there. Junior Noboa is going to pinch run. If it goes extra innings, then he will stay in the game as the DH. But he's on. And he runs at a 14, which will certainly help try to score on a single. And here's Joe Carter. He's been the man of the hour for the Indians. He is 3 for 4, 2 runs scored, and a run batted in. Facing Wes Gardner. 6-9 for Gardner. That's an in-home run chance, 1-4. That's a 13. It'll be a double, and that will score Noboa. And we have a tie ball game. Blown save for Wes Gardner. He had 10 saves on the real season. This one he blows. And now he's got to try to send it to extra innings. Doug Frobel, your batter. Carter at second base runs at a 14, so he's got decent speed. Gardner trying to get out of the mess. 6-8 to the lefty hitter. That's a ballpark blast for Doug Frobel. He does have normal power. 6-8 ballpark blast. It's a 1-8, but that's a 15. So they caught a break there. That is a fly ball to right field. 2 down, and now it's up to Corey Snyder. Last chance saloon, or else we have extra innings. Hello, Joel. Good to see you. Clutch situation for Snyder in the clutch. He loses these 2 hits at 1-9 and 1-10. First base is open if they wanted to try to pitch around Snyder, but he's only 1 for 4, so they're going to pitch to him. 5-10. Fly ball center field X. It's all up to Ellis Burks. Ellis Burks a 2E5, and if he makes the play, we're going to extra innings. 2E5. 2 and a 4, that's questionable. 2 and a 4. He will get to it in F1. That's all he needs. That's a 12, and he's an E5. And there is no 12 there, so Ellis Burks runs it down, and we go to the 10th inning. Cleveland will need a new pitcher, and so will Boston, because that's all for Gardner. He's going to go 2 innings. He's going to give up 2 hits and a run, blows the save. No walks, no strikeouts. Not sure who the new pitcher for Boston is going to be. It probably depends on if they take the lead or not. For Cleveland, they will go to a right-hander because we got Baylor and Evans, a couple of righties coming up. So we go to the right-hander out of their pen, and it's going to be right-hander out of the pen is going to be Mark Huseman. Huseman is on. He is a -2 hold, and we combine that with Bando, who Bando is now a +1, so that makes him a -1 on the hold. And he will be facing Evans, Greenwell, and Owens. I'm going to go ahead and move this over here because I think I'm running out of room. So we're going to have Baylor, Evans, and Greenwell right here in the top of the 10th against Huseman. 3-6 for Baylor. It's ground ball to short, 1 away. Forgot to mention Huseman. 2 and 3. Let's get his numbers here. Full numbers for Huseman. He is 2 and 3 with a 5.04 ERA and 2 saves. That's on the real season. On the replay, he's 0 and 5 with a 5.97 ERA and no saves. 29 innings pitched, 34 hits allowed. So Huseman, we'll bring him back over here, will now face Dwight Evans. 1 out, nobody on, top of the 10th, tied at 5. 4-3, and that's a ground ball first base X. We're looking at Joe Carter. He's a 3.24 for Mr. Carter. 3 and a 9. He should be okay with that, I would think. 3 and a 9 is a G3. That's good enough. That's an 8, and he's an E24. E24, there's no 8 there, so Carter does get to it, and he'll flip to Huseman covering. 3-1. Again, that's the ground ball C and ground ball X's. We make 3-1s, just following Tribe Band's lead. And here's Mike Greenwell, just for some variety. It really doesn't matter how you score it. Now it's an out. 4-9, and that's going to be a ground ball to second. So 1-2-3 inning for Huseman. And we go to the bottom of the 10th. We are tied at 5. For the Tribe, it's going to be switch hitter, right-hander, switch hitter. So really at this point, it doesn't matter out of the bullpen who you go to. I think they're going to go to, for Boston, they're going to go to Steve Crawford, I do believe. We'll make sure he's not fatigued or overworked. But I think they're going to go to Steve Crawford here. No, he's good to go. Steve Crawford on the real season, 5 and 4 with a 5.33 ERA and no saves. On the replay, Crawford 3 and 3 with a 3.67 ERA and 2 saves. So he's already had a couple of saves. And he'll be facing the bottom of the order, Bernazard, Jacoby, and Bando. Can't hit for Bando because Bando is the last catcher remaining. So Bernazard it is against Steve Crawford. And we'll check Crawford's hold. He's a -4. And the catcher, Sullivan's a 0. So it is a -4 on the hold. So here's Bernazard, bottom of the 10th. 6'10", switch hitter batting left. That's a ground ball third base X. And Boggs is a 2E16. 2E16 for Wade Boggs. The 1's going to get through for a base hit. The Devil Die strikes again. So it's a base hit. And at third base, that is a 9. And Boggs is an E16. No 9 there, but it is going to be a base hit for Tony Bernazard as the winning run is now on base. But that -4 by Crawford is going to really deter any chances of a stolen base threat. And Brooks Jacoby just can't bunt. So they're not going to ask him to bunt. They're going to ask him to get a base hit and try to win the game. Here's Jacoby. 1-5, and he does it right there. A walk-off home run for Brooke Jacoby. We don't need no stinking bunt. That's a walk-off home run for Brooke Jacoby. 1-5. It's gone. 2-run home run from Brooke Jacoby, and the Cleveland Indians walk off the Boston Red Sox 7-5 in 10 innings. Home run for Jacoby is home run number 12. RBIs 37 and 38. Brooke Jacoby, look at it again. 1-5, right there in big bold numbers or letters. Solid home run. Steve Crawford will take the L. He didn't get anybody out. He gave up 2 hits and 2 runs, so he takes the loss. And we'll get the numbers on. So for Crawford, he drops to 3-4. Huseman pitches 1 inning and gets the win. So Huseman will get his numbers. He is now 1-5. He gets his first win of the season. He's 1-5. Final line score. Since I don't have the computer up to give me the totals, I got to do this manually. But it shouldn't be too hard, I wouldn't think. For Boston, 5 runs on 13 hits. And I know they had the error on Spike Owen. That was the only error, I do believe. For Cleveland, 7 runs on 13 hits as well. And I don't believe they made an error. They did not. So there you go. 7-13-0 for Cleveland. 5-13-1 for Boston. Cleveland won the real game, real world, 8-7. They win this one 7-5 on a walk-off 2-run home run from Brooke Jacoby. Cleveland goes to 23-39. Boston drops to 24-39. So they're almost right there together in the cellar of the AL East, right there with the Orioles. So there you go. Game 432 in the books. Took 10 innings to do it, but we get it done. And we flip the page over to tomorrow, where we will head to County Stadium in Milwaukee. It'll be the Minnesota Twins taking on the Milwaukee Brewers, which will now be game number 433. And it's going to be Frank Viola for the Twins against Chuck Krim for the Brewers. So that is going to be for tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed that presentation of Strat-O-Matic Super Advanced 1987 style. Again, player of the game. Without question, Brooke Jacoby, his walk-off 2-run homer, wins it for the Tribe. So until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.